North Avenue was transmitted soon after. The fire was close to shift change, so a combined 1st and 2nd Battalion and 3rd responded. Conditions were heavy fire and smoke showing from the 3rd floor of a multiple unit apartment building. Firefighters Gross, riding engine 4, and Kirshner, assigned to Utility 3, proceeded to the Charlie side, where a report of a fire victim was relayed. They found a building that stepped down from the Charlie side, from the 3rd floor to a 2nd floor, and then to a 1st floor roof. A victim was located on the 1st floor roof. He had been assisted to that location by a neighbor. The patient had severe burns over most of his body, and after a short evaluation, found to be blind. Firefighter Kirshner remained with the patient while Firefighter Gross entered a 2nd floor window and began a search of the apartment. Firefighter Kirshner, joined by Deputy Fire Marshal Fishak on the roof, kept the victim calm and continued assessing the male burn victim while a Stokes basket was retrieved from truck 1 for patient removal. Broken glass and hose line water were coming down from the above fighting of the fire. Firefighter Kirshner shielded the victim until the basket arrived. Firefighter Kirshner, now joined by Firefighter Gutschall, who retrieved the Stokes basket and is now on the roof, and Deputy Fire Marshal Fishak, assisted the patient into the Stokes basket, preparing him for lowering. After off the roof, other firefighters carried the victim to the Alpha side and awaited the arrival of EMS. The patient was transported to Meritus Medical Center for treatment. For their actions, on April 8, 2013, on box alarm 147 at 46 East North Avenue, a certificate of merit is awarded to firefighters James F. Kirshner, Russell R. Gutschall IV, and Deputy Fire Marshal Dale G. Fishak. On June 6, 2012, box alarm 237 was transmitted at 21:19 hours for 908 Hamilton Boulevard. While en route, communications advised that they were receiving multiple calls. Units had a working fire and several entrapments. Battalion Chief 2, Kleck, arrived quickly to find a 3-story apartment building with smoke showing and multiple occupants needing rescue from many windows on the upper floors. Engine 2 arrived with firefighter Delosier and Wagaman. They immediately went into the rescue mode. Delosier grabbing a 24-foot ladder off of Engine 2, and Wagaman a 28-foot ladder from Truck 1, now on the scene. Delosier arriving first to the battalion chief's location, they saw 2 occupants trapped, one on the 2nd floor and one on the 3rd floor, both from windows on side Bravo. They both threw the ladder to the 3rd floor window to a male victim that had heavy black smoke pushing out around him. Battalion Chief Kleck ascended and assisted the male onto the ladder and down the ladder to safety. Firefighter Wagaman noticed another victim trapped in a 2nd floor window on the Bravo side with moderate smoke pushing out around her. He was assisted throwing the ladder by firefighter Delosier. Firefighter Wagaman ascended the ladder and removed a female victim from the window and down a ladder to safety. Firefighter Delosier then returned to charge and stretch hand lines from engine 2 to fight the fire. Firefighter Wagaman returned to his ladder and the window and entered the building to continue the search for more victims. Simultaneously, several other rescues were occurring on side D. David. Firefighter Gilbert Tillerman of Truck 1 grabbed a ground ladder and headed to side D. He observed 2 female occupants in a second floor window with smoke coming out around them. He threw and ascended his ladder, assisting them both to safety. Firefighter Myers, assigned to Utility 3, arrived and began an interior primary search, but had an equipment malfunction causing him to exit the smoke-filled apartment building. While exiting, though, on side A Alpha, he observed a female occupant in a third floor window on side A. Ready, Chief? He removed a 35-foot extension ladder from Truck 1 and carried it to side A. Finished with his 2 rescues, Firefighter Gilbert assisted Firefighter Myers in raising the 35-foot ladder. Firefighter Myers ascended to the third floor to find a female victim unable to escape because of the fire below and security bars on the window. He used a Halligan bar he received from Firefighter Gilbert to remove the bars, then assisted the victim onto the ladder and down to safety. All of the rescues you have just heard on Hamilton Boulevard were caused by a fire on the first floor, making the interior escape of victims down the interior stairs, impossible. For his actions on box alarm 237 at 908 Hamilton Boulevard, a certificate of merit is awarded to firefighter Anthony W. Delosier. For their actions on box alarm 237 at 908 Hamilton Boulevard, the Distinguished Service Medal is awarded to Battalion Chief Mark A. Kleck, firefighters Richard P. Gilbert, Daniel L. Myers, and Daniel C. Wagaman. At shift change on the morning of April 18th, 2012, the 3rd Battalion began their tour of duty. At that time, no one had any idea that this would be one of the worst days in Hagerstown Fire Department's history, and that a decision we all feared would have to be made. At 12:38 hours, box alarm 411 was sounded to 334 Summit Avenue for the apartment building fire. Utility 3 arrived, reporting smoke showing with fire above the roof line on the Charlie side. They also saw a male subject outside with his face stained with soot, prompting a call for additional EMS units. Firefighter Murray, assigned to Utility 3, approached the male subject for evaluation and additional information. At that point, he observed heavy fire venting from a door on the 3rd floor Charlie side and involving a porch and the fire escape. The male subject advised that he was the father, and more victims were still inside the 3rd floor apartment. Truck 4 was out of service, and the 2-man truck crew were reassigned to Engine 4, creating a crew of 4. Engine 4 arrived at the Charlie Delta corner, and the crew began advancing a hose line to the Charlie side for a quick knockdown of the fire for entry purposes. Firefighter Murray questioned the father again about another way into the apartment, something like a front door. Is there another way in? The father advised how to get there, but that the door was blocked by a dresser and that the door would not open. Firefighter Murray entered side alpha, made the 3rd floor, and forced the door to the right and found a mostly vacant apartment. He searched this apartment quickly and returned to the hallway, where he began forcing the other door located at the top of the steps. Arriving on the working fire dispatch, Engine 3's crew, firefighters Diallo and Fusick, were ordered by command to search the building, side alpha, from the 1st floor to the 3rd. After several failed attempts to force the apartment door and hearing the order to Engine 3, firefighter Murray went back to the front porch and met Engine 3's crew. He told them that there were 3 more victims in a 3rd floor apartment. We need to get in the door to the left. They immediately made their way to the 3rd floor. With the door being unable to swing open, firefighter Fusick began chopping at the door with his forcible entry tools, trying to create a hole large enough to crawl through. Unfortunately, a large piece of furniture still blocked the access after he completed this task. He had to chop his way through this large piece of furniture also. Once both the door and the furniture had a large enough hole to crawl through, that's firefighter Fusick, firefighters Diallo and Murray, crawled through and into the apartment. It was quickly realized that this apartment had approximately 4 feet of hoarded materials throughout the entire apartment from wall to wall. As all 3 crawled on top of and sometimes falling into narrow pathways the family used to travel around the apartment, searching for victims, they had to identify hundreds of items with their hands because of smoke conditions, made seeing mostly impossible. Firefighter Diallo searched using a thermal imaging camera. All 3 found stuffed animals resembling babies and many dead cats, to name a few items. Firefighters Murray and Fusick eventually came across a large female in a crouched position and leaning forward onto a